Hello, 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 plant. Welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant. And every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand. In the morning sun, where the flowers bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello, plant. Welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant. In every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. Alright. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello, plant. Welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant. In every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 plant. Welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant. And every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you, just for you. In the morning sun, where the
Hi
flowers
everyone,
bloom.
and welcome back to our live Q&A. Anyone that's new here, any returning people, welcome all. I'm just going to briefly tell you about what this is, just in case you are new here. So, our live Q&As is something that we do every single Monday, same time, 12 p.m. to 12:45 p.m. on any platform that you're on right now. We're on quite a couple of different platforms. And why we do these live Q&As is so we can help educate people all about gardens and plants so that they can have the best garden possible. Because we know it can be quite tricky. Sometimes if your plant's dying, you don't really know why. You're trying to Google it, you can't really find the right answers. It can be really hard, but that's why we're doing this, because Chris has been in the industry for so long and knows so much about plants and gardens that he can answer pretty much any question. And all you need to do is comment your question below, and then I'm going to ask it to Chris, who is going to answer it, and we just keep doing that for the next 45 minutes. So super easy. And yeah, do you want to tell us a bit about what's happening in the nursery right now, Chris, just while we wait for questions to roll in?
Okay, we're starting to get gradually the bare rooted is starting to build up, and there's lots and lots of people in on the weekend buying bare rooted roses, and this week we'll be bringing in bare rooted English box. So if somebody wanted to make an instant English box hedge, the bare rooted way is the way to do it economically. And then we had a big load of bare rooted fruit trees in this week, beautiful load. And what it is, most of the fruit trees that came in are dwarf, so there's pretty much all your favourite stone fruits, apples, apricots, all that sort of thing, all there in dwarf form and bare rooted. So it's a good time to, because you'll find most of the year, like dwarf fruit trees are in such big demand that most of the time there's almost none available in the stores. But right now we've got quite a few hundred bare rooted dwarf fruit trees, all different varieties, sitting there ready for you to take home and put into your orchard. And dwarf fruit trees are really popular now because it means that you can grow a number of fruit trees in a small area. They don't grow, what it is, your dwarf fruit trees graft onto a special understock that makes them smaller. So it's your normal, say for instance you buy a Stella cherry or something as a dwarf, it'll be on a dwarfing understock. It'll be the same Stella cherries you've always had, but it'll be on a dwarfing understock, which will mean that tree will only grow small. And often with the dwarf ones, they put their energy into fruiting instead of into growing, so you tend to get very prolific fruiting on your dwarf ones.
Amazing. Yeah, so very exciting things happening. And do you want to tell them about the live sale happening this Friday?
Okay, what we're having is our bargain bonanza, and so what it is, I'm out first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll be rounding up for a bonanza sale, a bargain bonanza sale. I'll be rounding up bargains. I'll be going to the growers and say, look, it's pretty cold and pretty hard to get people down in the nursery. It's pretty hard to get them out in the garden. We need some real bargains, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to put some bargains that even if you go, oh, it's too cold to get in the garden, but look at those English boxes, they're only $4.99. I've got to buy them. And so that's what's going to happen. It's the bargain bonanza, and we'll have 100 items. It'll be Friday, it'll be lunchtime, there'll be 100 items at fabulous prices. We'll be rounding up everywhere for our bargain bonanza sale, and it'll be live on your favourite platform at 12 o'clock, and it'll be your chance to get your garden project done on the cheap. And I think this will be, I'm really working the growers over and getting the very best deals, and this will be my best ever live sale. 100 items, fabulous things, and I'll let one go there. The 6-inch English box has been $6.99, $4.99 at the bargain bonanza. That's just one special.
Amazing. So yeah, definitely be sure to tune in then Friday 12 p.m. on whatever platform you're on right now. But we're going to get straight into the questions. So for anyone new who has just joined, this is a live Q&A. Come here with all your plant and gardening questions. All you need to do is comment your question and I'm going to ask it to Chris. We got a couple questions already, and I'm going to start off with, will silver sheen be good to plant along paling fence?
Yeah, I think so. No problem at all. I've seen it hedged along a paling fence lots of times. The main thing is you'd want to have it on the sunny side of the paling fence. If it was on the south side and it was in shade all day, every day, that wouldn't be good. You'd go for more something like a sweet viburnum. But as long as you've got at least half a day's sun on that side of the paling fence, they'll be terrific. And they're good to make quite a tall, narrow hedge. So if you've only got a small space up against the paling fence, they'll be great. But have at least half a day's sun there. If there's a lack of sun, go for a sweet viburnum instead.
Amazing. Next question is from Mary. I have citrus in pots and they aren't liking the best. I'm assuming they're not liking the pots. So
they're not looking the best, maybe.
Not looking the best, yeah. So should I get them out and put in new soil?
Okay, so I wonder how long they've been in for. What people don't realise is that plants, particularly citrus, love their calcium, and calcium unfortunately is water soluble. So you've just been through summer, you've been probably watering them every day or every second day, and you've washed away the calcium. What you need right now, say they're in a 12-inch diameter pot, I'd be using half a kilo of dolomite lime and sprinkling that all around. Don't put on any other fertiliser at that time, but put that on, leave it for a month or so, let it get in and go right through the pot, and then put on a good dose of Osmocote, like maybe, say a 12-inch pot, a heaped tablespoon of Osmocote, and that's after 1 month after applying the dolomite lime, and you can get them going. Or if they're sort of getting oversized in a small pot, maybe you go up a pot size and do the same thing, dolomite lime, leave it for a month, good tablespoon of Osmocote. So if they're under potted, take them up a pot size. If they're okay in the pot they're in, good dose of dolomite lime, and then follow it up with some Osmocote.
Fantastic. Next question is from Gaz. Do you have a personal bonsai collection?
No, I kind of almost do. What I've got is I've got 2 pine trees. Actually, I've got 2 pine trees and a jade. I've got a jade that I've had in a big pot for about 14 years. Actually, if you Google large leaf jade, you can see the first one that comes up on Google is my one in a kind of a funky old pot, a really old one with a thick trunk and that. And I give it 1 trim a year and keep it as a sort of like a bonsai large leaf jade. And then I've got a red pine, a sort of a dwarf red pine that I've had in a pot for 10 or 12 years, and it's about that wide. It's about 1 metre wide, and it's only about 60 or 70 centimetres above the pot. Looks fabulous. Beautiful thick trunk on it, really, really nice. But I haven't really worked on it enough to quite own it as a bonsai. Then my partner, I had a black pine in a pot for 10 or 12 years, and my partner's starting to work on the shape of that, and that's really starting to look like a little bonsai. So I've got a black pine, a red pine, and a large jade, but I wouldn't call it a real bonsai collection.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just quickly answering the question about repeating the hedge name. I'm just typing it in the comments.
Yeah.
It was Sweet Viburnum.
Yeah, and actually it's a funny thing about me is that a lot of people don't like pine trees, but I love pine trees in landscapes and in pots and things like that. There's something, a pine tree just sort of communicates something to me, and that's why I've got those pines in pots.
Yeah. Next question, is Avenue Lavender going to survive light frost if I plant them now in winter? I am in central New South Wales with temperate climate.
Yeah, I've got Avon View out in frosty country right now, and it's fine in the frost. So it shouldn't be any problem at all.
Great. Tiana would like any tips for string of pearls.
String of pearls. I think if you could get them into a window with morning sun at this time of year, have nice, maybe put a bit of Osmocote underneath in the bottom of the pot, and a nice sunny window. They do like a bit of light. A nice sunny window, you should be fine. And you just got to be patient while they grow.
Yeah. Next one is, can you give tips on growing sweet peas from seed in pots in Melbourne, when to germinate, etc.?
I heard, when is St. Patrick's Day?
Let me have a Google.
I remember somebody telling me that St. Patrick's Day was the day for planting your sweet peas.
17th of March.
Yeah.
So it's already passed.
And I think that would be right. So you'd have them up in the autumn, so 17th of March. I think you could possibly combine with a couple of pints of Guinness and planting them at the same time. But anyway, basically St. Patrick's Day is the time for planting sweet peas. And if people don't know, sweet peas are a wonderful old-fashioned plant. Back in the 20s, it was the most fashionable flower around, and everybody had sweet peas in their garden. And people have lost and forgotten them, but they're beautiful colours, fabulously easy things to grow, and you can buy them from seed. Get them in packets and plant them around St. Patrick's Day, and then come spring, you've got these spring and into early summer, you've got these amazing, beautiful little flowers. They're worth googling, sweet peas, and they come in lots of different colours too, and very cheap to establish. Just buy a packet of sweet pea seed and pop it in.
Amazing. Next question is, I have a crepe myrtle diamonds in the dark. It's about 70 centimetres tall. When should I prune for growth?
I would think that at 70 centimetres, I wouldn't be pruning it at all. I'd be perhaps like you put a little bit of limestone or a dolomite lime around it right now. Give it a bit of Osmocote in August, and let it grow a bit first. I'd let it grow before I did any pruning. Let it grow and develop.
Yeah. Next question is, what are the key elements of a healthy garden?
Having the right, basically the number one thing is soil. Really good soil can overcome, like when you've got fabulous soil. So and what's interesting is sometimes I've seen fabulous gardens with beautiful soil in an area where the soil is poor, and that's because it's possible to improve your soil. Like what your soil is and what it could be are two different things. And by digging over your soil with a shovel, breaking it up, mixing in compost, getting the pH correct, getting some organic activity going in the soil, all of those things are the key to the key. And then apart from that, some plants require sun, some plants require shade. So and the thing is, for a lot of people, if they've got a shady garden, there's not a lot you can do. It might be the tree next door that's causing that shade and you can't do anything about it. So what I would tend to think is, so you get your soil right, you get it loose, you get it nice, you get it rich, you get it organically active. And then the next thing would be to choose plants for the sunshade situation that you've got and the wind situation. So rather than saying, well, I really like roses and I'm going to grow them even though my garden's shady, that's a bad thing to do, because roses don't grow good in the shade. So what you do is you say, this is shady and I like roses, but I'm going to grow something that loves shade. And you find out from your local nurseryman, or you look up on the internet and you find a range of shade loving plants that'll do the job. And that way, so if you've got the soil right, and then you choose the plants that are right for your sunshade, wind, frost, for all the circumstances that you've got there, choose the right plants for those circumstances, then your garden is going to thrive.
Amazing. Next question is, what's the perfect pH of soil, or does it depend on the plants?
It depends on the plants. Like for instance, if you wanted to have like a dogwood, for instance, only needs the tiniest bit of lime to push it over. Lime is your high pH stuff, so it only needs a tiny bit of lime to push it over the edge and kill it. I remember one time I had a beautiful big pink dogwood growing on the edge of my driveway, and I had some big concrete pipes delivered which would have been high pH, and the dust that fell off them and washed onto my dogwood killed the dogwood. Just a little bit of dust off the concrete pipes. So it would have been alkaline dust and knocked them off. So for a dogwood, an ideal pH would be about 5.5, and same for a rhododendron and an azalea and a camellia and a gardenia. And then for most vegetables, for most sort of hedgy, foliagey plants like bay trees and English box and things like that, your ideal pH is 7. So generally, tomatoes, all your veggies, all your green sort of leafy, hedgy, topiary kind of plants and that sort of thing, mostly it's around about a pH of 7 is your ideal pH. So you've got, so there is no ideal pH other than for the particular plant. And then pH testers are quite cheap to buy. And then altering pH is quite easy. You can use things like pine bark is very acidic, and if you just get pure smashed up pine bark and mix it through the soil, you can make it much more acid. And I often tell people with, say, blueberries, which like acid conditions, to mix in lots of crushed up decomposing pine bark. And then of course by adding dolomite lime, and dolomite lime's a good one because it's hard to overdose your dolomite lime. It seems to balance itself out really well, but dolomite lime is a good way to increase your pH.
Fantastic. The next question is, how do I start a garden if I've never grown anything before?
Okay, so the first thing I ever grew was a radish and some radishes, and that got me going because radishes radishes are incredibly easy to grow, and they're incredibly easy to grow, and so really what I'm saying, and they're quick, they happen really quickly. So I often get young couples come in here and they've just built a house, they've never done anything in the garden, and they're doing their first garden. What I'll do is I will offer something that may not be the most exciting plant that I've got here, but I'll offer them something, or plants, I'll offer them something that I know they can't kill, And my idea is to give them a win. So if you went down to your local nursery and you told them you were just starting out, and you got them to and tell them, you know, you want a nice tree in the front yard, or you want a hedge along the back, or whatever it is that you want, and particularly if you went to a nurseryman like myself, I would make sure that you went home with something that you couldn't fail with. And there are plants like that. There's plants that you see, and so the way to do it is to start out on something easy, not something that you've heard about that's fantastic, but just start out on something really, really easy, and get it growing. Find out, you know, talk to the nurseryman. So start out with something easy, find out how to grow it, get it growing, and have a win, and then you can step up a little bit further. So I guess what I'm saying is go for something easy that you can't kill, and get advice or help from your nurseryman, because I reckon every week there's 2 or 3 people that come to me, they're on their first garden, and I'm very careful, because what I want them to do is I want them to win and then come back and get gardening.
Amazing. Next question is, how can I tell how much sunlight my garden gets per day?
Just by watching it, really. Like if you just watch where the sun rises, watch when it gets onto the garden, watch when it gets off the garden, and note that it's going to vary at different times of the year.
Yeah, amazing. Next question is, what type of fertilizer is best for flowering plants?
I think it would depend a little bit, but as a general rule, you'll find that Osmocote, or a slow release fertilizer like Osmocote, is, you can't, with some fertilizers, say if it sticks to the leaves, it'll burn the leaves, and it can burn the plant. It might release too quickly, or so Osmocote is an incredibly safe fertilizer. I think it was basically designed so that people who maybe didn't quite know what they were doing, or people, you know, fertilizing lots and lots of plants, could fertilize lots and lots of plants, get a good result, and not do any damage. So a good starting point would be your Osmocote.
Amazing.
And then you'll find there are different sorts of Osmocote that are focused on different sort of plant requirements, like in particular flowers.
Yeah. Next question is, do you have tequila sunrise standards in this week? I came last week, you had none left. 3-foot standard.
3-foot standards. I don't think we do, but what we'll do is give us, what we could do is we chase them up for you. So we could chase them up. What would they have to do so we could chase them up?
Probably email or call us.
Yeah, so email or call, and we'll chase those up for you. Unfortunately, our first early batch of roses is starting to sell out at the moment, and the next batch doesn't come until late this month or early next month. But we can chase them up perhaps from another grower if you get in touch with my staff here.
The next question is, can you please do a post on plants unsafe for dogs? We actually do have an article coming out. I'm not sure exactly when. The article is written. It's just a matter of designing the page and publishing it. That's all about plants that, well, we talk about the plants that are best for animals, and then we also have a couple mentions at the end of the article about plants that you shouldn't plant if you have any dogs or any pets or that sort of thing. We can also do a video though, but we do have an article coming out soon-ish, so just keep an eye out on our socials. We'll post once that article has been published. Then, next question is, where should I buy potting mix? Is Bunnings okay?
Bunnings is fine, but there's a lot of really crook potting mixes on the market. Probably the safest potting mix would be a Debco. Yeah, I think Debco would probably be the best potting mix that you can pick up, and it is available, I think, at Bunnings and other places as well. We have Debco here as well, and what it is, they have some people put, you know, just fill the bag with sort of all sorts of stuff, but Debco have a kind of like a scientist that oversees their potting mix production, and their potting mix is really designed for plants to grow in. And we actually use their mix, we grow hundreds of thousands of plants, and we use that same mix for growing our plants.
Amazing. Next question is, how do I take cuttings from a plant and grow a new one?
some plants like I'd start off with something easy, like say a Marguerite daisy. I was just looking at some Marguerite daisies and thinking about, I haven't struck them for years, but if you have a lot of people would have Marguerite daisies now that would need a trim. They're getting a bit tall and leggy. If you cut a piece of Marguerite daisy, say that'll be about 20 centimetres long, and then strip off the bottom foliage and just have a little foliage and get a pot with some good quality potting mix in it, and put it 2/3 of the way into the pot, and it could only have to be a little tiny pot, and put it 2/3 of the way, or sort of a skinny little pot, put it 2/3 of the way into the pot, and put it in a kind of like a sheltered position. Don't overwater it, keep it moist, and what you'll see is in about 4 or 5 weeks it'll start to grow, like on the veranda or something like that, with a bit of morning sun, sheltered, not too much wind and stuff like that would be the perfect spot. But your Marguerite daisy will start to grow, and then when it grows, when it say doubles in size, you could take it out of that pot and put it into a bigger pot, or pop it out in the flower bed. And you could even go for a walk around your neighbourhood and there'll be Marguerite daisies in flower hanging over fences and things like that, and you could pick a couple of pieces that are hanging over the fence and start your own little garden. So a Marguerite daisy would be, some plants are very difficult to grow from cuttings, and it takes special chemicals and bottom heat and all sorts of technical things. But your Marguerite daisy, I was just thinking about the other day, I was thinking how easy they were to do and how I used to do them when I was younger, and that would be a very easy starting point.
Fantastic. Next question is, how should I use lump charcoal ash? I heard it's good for the soil or garden, but in small quantities.
What sort of charcoal ash?
Lump charcoal.
Right, okay. So charcoal is supposed to purify the toxins and things like that in the soil, and if you just mix a little bit through, I've grown plants a bit, particularly orchids, with a bit of charcoal, lump charcoal through it, and it's a very, very good potting medium, and it assists drainage in that, and depending on the type of plant, but with most plants you would of volume, you wouldn't use more than sort of 15 to 20% of the volume to be charcoal.
Yeah. The next question is, my lettuce has really long stems. Should I bury them?
No, I don't think so. I think you could get some rot or something in if you did that. I just plant them and maybe start picking some of the taller ones and eating them.
Mm-hmm. Next question is, what is the best fertilizing program for magnolias? What is the trick to get them booming? Love your work, Chris. I'm in Adelaide and love your videos, mate.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, magnolias love sun. They love hot sun, and their favourite fertiliser, I reckon, is cow manure. But cow manure is not accessible to everybody, so you'll find, I mentioned Osmocote occasionally. Osmocote would be fine if you didn't have cow manure, but hot sun, summer water, and manure is the secret. Like hottest sunny spot, you've got good generous doses of fertiliser, and if you cultivate the soil and make it nice and porous so the water really goes in, and then really pump the water into them. So basically hot sun, water and fertiliser, and you'll get beautiful magnolias, and they have, all magnolias have really, really good growing capacity. Like you'll be amazed, given the right conditions, you'll be amazed how strongly your magnolia will grow.
Amazing. Next question is, not a question, but more of a statement. Just talking, I assume, about the ash question we had before. We use the ash from fireplace in our chook shed, then use the manure mix in our garden beds. I wonder if that works well.
Okay, talking about the ash is different to the charcoal. Ash is rich in potash, and the problem with potash is that it is water soluble and disappears. So if you say throw it in a heap outside, say you clear out your fire, so what you should do is when you empty out the ash out of your fire, if you've got like a fireplace or an enclosed burning box in the house, clear the ash out and put it into a large drum and save it for kind of summer, and sprinkle on a little tiny bit at a time, and that potash encourages flowers, it encourages fruiting, and it encourages lush green foliage. But it's like vitamin C. If you took half a bottle of vitamin C, it'll pass through, and it won't help you much tomorrow. So that's why you take just a sort of a set dose regularly of vitamin C. And so potash is the same. So if you use small regular doses of potash from the fire, which is that whitey ash that comes out of your wood fire, if you keep it dry and then use that dry ash through spring and summer and autumn, it's great for flowers, great for fruit, and great for lush green foliage. But it's got to be used fresh and frequently and in small doses, because it is soluble and it doesn't have a cumulative value like, say, like lime might have. Lime, with dolomite lime, in most cases you'll get away with one good heavy dose a year, but with a good big heavy dose of potash and you're just throwing it away.
All right, next question is, looking for a good native medium-sized tree. Can you suggest something? I am in Perth.
I reckon a native frangipani is a wonderful medium-sized tree, or a blueberry ash. Blueberry ash have beautiful pink flowers in spring, and then in late spring your native frangipani has a big show of yellow flowers and the most gentle and fabulous fragrance.
Amazing. The next question is, are there any plants that bloom year-round?
Almost none. The only thing I can think of is like a polygala little baby, and that flowers a little bit in the winter and a lot in spring and summer. And that's a plant that grows into a lovely ball and has a little tiny purple pea-like flower, and when it's in full bloom it looks fantastic, but even in winter it's great, that odd little purple flower on it. And I can't think of much else. Most things knock off for a period of time.
Yeah. Next question is, how often should I be watering newly planted plants / trees in winter?
Okay, so I was just helping a guy with his garden yesterday, and I said really good soak right at the moment, and if we have a normal winter I don't think you give them any water till the beginning of October. So and maybe if it was, sometimes you have a hot dry September, but you might start a bit earlier. But basically we normally stay wet, and we're getting a bit of rain now, we normally stay pretty wet. So the only time we have to watch out, sometimes around on certain sides of the house you'll have a bit of a rain shadow and plants can dry out, or you might have things under the veranda. And that's the problem that I have, is that plants that, like when it starts raining a lot, there'll be those plants that are kind of under a veranda or on that side of the house. It's a bit of a rain shadow, a wall that keeps the water off, and you can forget to water those plants and they can get into trouble. There could be plants getting into trouble because you're thinking, oh, everything's wet, but everything's not wet. But if you're fully out in Melbourne, if you're fully out in the open, starting with the good rains we've had in the last week or so, you really shouldn't have to water till end of September, beginning of October.
Yeah. Next question is, something keeps eating away at my lemon tree. Is there anything I can use to keep pests away?
So I wonder if something's eating the lemon tree now. If something was eating the lemon tree now, one good idea, like I wonder what it looks like. There's everything that eats lemons, like possums come along and eat your lemons. And there's little bugs, caterpillars, all sorts of things. I try and catch it and identify what it is, and my mum used to go out at sort of 9:30 at night and with a torch and find out what was attacking her bugs, and then she'd wage war on them once she knew what she had. And so I'd be out there and but I've seen quite a few lemons being mauled by possums. And they do a very savage kind of a mauling, whereas there's little cutleaf bugs that'll have a go at the citrus and not really cause too much damage. So I think you need to maybe have a look at it and see what's doing it, and even go out at night time with a torch and see if you can catch whatever's doing it.
Yeah. Next question is, I'm in Sydney and my red maple is all brown. There's only a couple leaves that are red.
I wonder if that's a Japanese maple. Often Japanese maples, when they have a lack of water or get a bit stressed in the summer, don't turn a nice red, but actually the leaves all turn brown.
Yes,
and then
it's Japanese maple.
Yeah, Japanese maple. So what'll happen is that the leaves turn brown and don't fall off. So the maple's not dead, but it's protesting. And so next summer you need to water that maple more thoroughly and more often, and have it not have long periods of being stressed for dryness, because a well watered Japanese maple in a pot will produce fabulous autumn colour if it's watered regularly.
Yeah. Next question is, how do I safely dispose of diseased plants or soil?
I throw little bits and pieces. I just throw it in the garbage. But apart from that, do you know that composting, a good active compost heap eats disease? You know, like fungus and things like that. They all seem to get disposed of, all get eaten by the composting activity. So a good active healthy compost heap, once it goes on there and gets composted, it should disappear.
Amazing. Next question is, how do I avoid overwatering indoor plants in winter?
By not overwatering. But seriously, what the trick is plants do not use much water in the winter when it's icy cold, and so I would still give them a really good soak, but I think the trick would be to reduce the frequency of that good soak.
Yeah. Next question is, are there any fast growing shrubs that are low maintenance?
Yeah, I just would think what that is. So in the shrub area, say you're in Melbourne, a sweet viburnum, very good, very fast growing shrub. Bit of water, bit of fertilizer, grows like crazy. Orange jessamine could be really quite vigorous too. And wistringias are a good fast shrub that give you beautiful little flowers for a real lot of the year. So there's a couple for you. So wistringia, sweet viburnum, and orange jessamine, all fast growing shrubs for Melbourne conditions.
Amazing. The next question is, how do I choose the right tree or shrub for a small garden?
Well, one way is to come in and get a do our free garden design. For a small garden, you'd pick a 20-minute design. You'd put up $50, and if you spend over $250 after the design, you get that $50 off the $250, so you'd only spend $200 at the end, and so that makes it a free garden design. And what's good about that is that most days there's myself and another lady who's a landscape architect, and we'll spend 20 minutes with you, and we're interested in your ideas, and I believe that people know what they want. They just need a bit of help to express it, and that's the whole basis of my garden design, is helping people express and get what they really want. But what myself and the landscape architect have up our sleeve is a really good understanding of choosing the plants to get the results. So a person comes in, and I had a couple of ladies come in for a garden design the other day, and they said, we don't like flowers. We like them in other people's gardens, but we don't like flowers, and we want something simple and modern. And so I was able to choose, or we were able to choose, a really nice selection that they're really happy with. But I really don't mind what people say to me. I can help them achieve that because, and same with my assistant, we can help them achieve that because we've got that knowledge of, and it's only taken me 60 odd years to get the knowledge that I've got. I got my first gardening job when I was 7. So after 60 years, I could really help choose that right plant and the exact right thing to give people what they really want in their garden.
Amazing. Next question is, I'm in the Sunshine Coast. What should I be feeding my heliconias and cordyline?
Very wet up there. It washes all the fertilizer away. I wonder if you've got dynamic lifter up there. I think dynamic lifter would be great for you up there, and it's got a bit of calcium in it, and you can't do too much. It's not going to burn the leaves or anything like that. It's not going to do too much harm. So I think something like a dynamic lifter. And whether you have that brand up there, but they're your pelletized chicken manure, and you can go to a produce store and buy big bags of that really quite cheaply. So it's quite a cheap fertilizer that's quite safe and environmentally friendly to use. So I'd use something like I'd go to my local produce store and buy Dynamic Lifter or the Queensland equivalent. They might have a different brand up there. And they're the little chicken manure pellets.
Yeah. Next question is, I've been trying to grow a gardenia in my garden bed, but there's white sticky stuff all over it and it has stopped growing. Any advice?
What's got all over it?
White sticky stuff.
White sticky stuff. Okay, it sounds like you've got some little sucking insects on it that are kind of crippling it. And what you could do is you could mix up a bit of dishwashing detergent, not too crazy strong, and the next warm sunny day go out and spray it with dishwashing detergent and see if you can clean up those little sucking bugs. And then the next warm sunny day after that, do it again, do it 2 or 3 times, because it's very, very low toxicity, and see if we can clean up those. And what you've got is little sucking bugs, and you want, I think Saturday they're saying it's going to be 17 degrees or something like that. So Saturday, in the heat of the day, Saturday, the heat of the day, that would be a good day to hit them with a bit of slightly warm detergent, dishwashing detergenty water.
Yeah. Next question is, what are some creative ways to set up vertical gardening on a balcony?
No worries, thank you. Well, there's quite a few sort of plastic pots that you can hang on wire frames, and you could put up some steel or wooden supports and do a wire mesh frame, and find some of those hanging pots that you can hang on that wire mesh frame, and get some good quality potting mix, and you'll be in business straight away.
Amazing. And
and then you just look at the wall that you did, and is it a shady wall or a sunny wall, and really just choose plants for shade or sun for the situation. Very often I've helped a few people do those sorts of hanging gardens, and very often they're on a shady wall.
Yeah. Just letting everyone know, we have 5 minutes left of this live Q&A. So if you have any questions, make sure to comment it now before we run out of time to answer any more questions. If you do find that you have a question come up in the next kind of couple days, join our next live on Monday 12 p.m. To 12:45 p.m. at whatever platform you're on. Or you can, of course, call us, email us, or come in store. So the next question is, what are the best vegetables or herbs to grow in a container?
Best vegetable herbs to grow
in containers.
In containers. Do you know, I think you can grow almost any vegetable in a container, really, but lots and lots of people grow tomatoes, and then